Feels really good. Just wait. So for right now, before we start, what do you know, and it can be anything, I'll take quiet raised hands, what do you know about yoga already? Yeah?
Well, yoga has to do with like calming the mind.
Mm-hmm.
You do different poses.
Calming the mind in different poses, yeah. Anything else? Yeah. Meditation, sure, yeah. Meditation's a big part of yoga. Anything else? Yeah. Relaxation again, yep. Anything else you know? It could be anything. Any thoughts, like any poses you might know? Like just share anything you know about yoga. Okay, well that's okay. Did you have something? Yeah, very calming. That's good. I'm glad a lot of you, that you know that big part of it. Yep. Tree pose, yeah, tree pose is very big. We may or may not get to tree pose today, but we have a lot of other fun yoga poses that we're going to play around with. But for today in physical education, we will be doing a couple things with yoga. We work on flexibility. It's a really big part of it. We are going to be working on balance, and balance doesn't mean the ability to stand on one leg without wiggling around. Balance is also being able to be equally flexible or equally strong in both sides of your body. A lot of students the last couple of days have been, they would say like, oh, it's so much easier when I'm on my right leg forward than with my left leg. That's because our body is in balance because we don't necessarily work both sides of our bodies. Can you please sit down? Sit down. Thank you. Because we don't necessarily work both sides of our body every day. So yoga, we always do both sides of our body. And you'll hear me repeat this like 6 or 7 times today during it, that, oh, we just did this side, now we got to do the other side of our body. So flexibility, balance, we're building strength in our muscles. In yoga, you're always engaging your muscles. Even though you might just end up looking like you're just standing, you're still squeezing your legs and squeezing your core. Yoga, the big part about relaxation and calming, which a lot of you have already known about it, comes from breath with movement. Now, breath with movement means that you're doing the yoga poses and breathing into them. Every day, do you ever stop breathing besides maybe if you're swimming underwater or swallowing food? Do you ever actually stop breathing? No, unless you're dead. But you never actually stop breathing. Sure, sleep apnea is a thing. Huh? If you have asthma, well, you know, that just makes it kind of difficult to breathe. But in reality, we don't stop breathing, but we're never really aware of our breath, right? It just kind of happens. We're never really thinking about it. It just goes, and we go on with our normal day. Now, in yoga, we start to focus on our breath, and this is where the relaxation comes from. So every day when you're reading, writing, studying, learning about things, your brain is constantly going. Kind of like your muscles. Your muscles, when they work really hard, you need to give them rest, right? So when your brain's working really hard, you need to let your brain rest. And to let your brain rest means to focus on the breath and turn off those thoughts about your homework assignment or what someone else is doing tonight or whatever it is. You focus on your breath, and that turns off those thoughts in your mind temporarily. And that's where relaxation comes from, because you're not thinking about things that are later or happened before. You're just breathing in your moment, letting go your thoughts. Does that kind of make sense? And it's a hard thing to understand, and you'll feel it at the end of class, I promise you. So let's get started. Everyone sit crisscross with your spine long, which means you're kind of sitting up tall, and your shoulders are out of the ears. So they're nice and relaxed, but your spine is long. And in yoga, traditionally, you start with 3 breaths or a few breaths to open up and release kind of any tension in your mind and kind of start with a clear slate, a clean slate. And with these 3 breaths, we're going to release some silly energy, just so we start becoming really focused. So everyone, let your eyes close and exhale all the air out of your lungs. Inhale deeply, fully, filling your lungs. And open your mouth, exhale. Ready, inhale, deepest breath, deep. Open your mouth, exhale. And ready, this last breath, deepest breath of the day. Really fill your lungs, one sip of air in, and then open your mouth, really exhale it out. We're going to do that one more time to let go of that silly energy, and we're going to be funny with it. Ready, inhale deep, and open your mouth. And open your eyes. Find your own breath. Yoga is a personal practice. It means when you're on your yoga mat, you're always doing your own practice, not worrying about anyone else's flexibility or abilities. You're just doing your own and always feeling your breath in your body. So let's get started with our breath and movement. Ready? Inhale, reach your hands up high. Exhale, bring them through your heart. Inhale up tall. Exhale through your heart. Inhale up tall. Exhale through your heart. And ready, this time a little different. Inhale up tall. Drop your left hand down next to you. And then bend that way. Feeling your body start to open up. Well, if it's hurting, you pull back a little bit. Don't force yourself to bend too far. Feel your side body start to open up. Inhale, come back up. Drop your right hand. And exhale, bend the other way. Breathe. It's all right. Silliness is allowed a little bit. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, fold forward, come to a tabletop. Make sure you're on your mat completely. And a tabletop is, your hand is directly under your elbow, directly under your shoulder on both sides, and your knees are hips distance apart so that your knees are directly under your hips on both sides. And we're on an even table. So now we have an opportunity to start opening our back and releasing a little more silly energy. So we're doing two things called cat and cow. Now in cat and cow, it's a spine opener, and it starts to release some energy in your spine and releasing this silly energy. So when we inhale, we're going to cow. So everyone inhale, drop your belly, bring your gaze up, and now you can do a cow noise. Moo. And then exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, push through your shoulders. This is called startled cat. Meow. There you go. Inhale, drop your belly, look up. And exhale, round your spine, push through your hands. And then come back to a tabletop. So we're going to do cat and cow again, no noises this time. But you're going to find your own breath in this. So really do long and exaggerated breaths to drop your belly on the inhales. And then on the exhales, really push through your spine. Go ahead, do it now, your own breath. Do 3 or 4 of them now. Inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. Keeping your legs, your knees directly under your hips. Breathing. And then everyone meet back at the tabletop. Now from tabletop, tuck your toes under so you're on the balls of your feet. Lift your knees up, lift your hips into the air, push back. This is downward facing dog. Now our first downward facing dog, your body's an upside down V, and you might find that the backs of your knees, your hamstring muscles are very tight. So you can bend into one knee and bend into the other, pedaling your feet out like you're riding a bike to start opening your hamstring muscles. Not doing it too fast. You're going to find that downward dog might be hard at first on your shoulders, but it becomes very relaxing later. It becomes a resting pose. And you're trying to constantly push your heels to the mat. Now, your heels might not be able to touch. Mine definitely don't. But you're pushing your heels as close as you can to feel the stretch behind your knees. Hold your downward dog and look between your feet. That's the proper gaze point. Relax. Great downward dogs. Now from here, inhale, come high to your tiptoes, bend your knees, look forward, and tiptoe to the front of the mat, finding a forward fold. So your upper body is falling to gravity. You just let it hang like a rag doll. Your head is hanging, and have a generous bend in your knees, girls. Have a generous bend in your knees so your chest can kind of lie on your thighs almost. If you need to really bend them, you can. Let your head really hang heavy. Grab your opposite elbows as you hang, and you can sway one way, sway the other. Shake your head yes, shake your head no, maybe so. Really let go. Let your upper body hang on your legs. Then bring your hands to your shins. Inhale, lift up halfway so your back is flat. You have a flat spine. Exhale, fold. Hands to your shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then flip your palms so they face the sky. And inhale, reach all the way up, reverse swan dive. And exhale, hands through your heart. Find mountain pose. So mountain pose is standing pose, but it's actually very active. You'd be surprised at how hard you work just standing here. So it starts out with your feet. Put your fists together, and then measure between your feet so that your feet just hug the outsides of your fists, and then come on up. Now this is your feet, that's about hips distance apart. Really engage your thighs, so squeezing them, pulling your kneecaps up. Pull your belly into your spine and then engage your core. Inhale, roll your shoulders into your ears, and exhale, lock them back, and your fingers are bright. So that means they're facing forward and you're engaging your arms. So your thighs are engaged, your core is engaged, your shoulders are pulling back, but they're out of the ears. Now, if you're properly squeezing all of these muscles, you won't be able to do this for more than 5 minutes because all of your muscles are working hard right now. Inhale, reach your hands up high. Exhale, swan dive with a flat back. Hands to your shins, inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant your hands, step your right foot to the back of the mat. Coming into low lunge. So your left foot's between your hands, and your right foot's. So in low lunge, look at your knee. Is it directly over your ankle? Because that's what you want. Not shooting forward and not shooting back. And you're high on the ball of the back foot. Your back leg is straight and strong. Do you feel your hips engaging and your legs engaging? Inhale, reach. Inhale, lift your heart up, have a flat back a little. And exhale, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Now everyone come to your knees and look at me for a second. Now what we're about to do is a high plank flow. Now in this high plank flow, you're using a lot of body parts and you're really linking your breath with movement. So I'm going to do it twice and then we're going to do it together. So from downward dog, we inhale to high plank. We exhale to low plank. I'm not touching the ground. I inhale, I pull forward, untucking my toes. You see I'm on the tops of my feet now. I lift it up, inhale, upward facing dog, and I exhale, shoot my hips up, tuck my toes, downward facing dog. Again, I inhale, high plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Everyone meet me in downward facing dog. Ready? Inhale, high plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Breathe. Look between your feet. And then inhale, reach your right leg long into the air. Three-legged dog, lifting it up. Do you feel the stretch behind your left knee? Yes. And when your leg is lifted, you can shoot or push your right or your left heel down towards the mat even more. You'll be able to feel the stretch a little bit more. Inhale the leg up a little higher. Bend your knee, step it between your hands at the front of the mat. Low lunge on this side. And then step your left to meet right. Forward fold, ragdoll. Hands to your shins. Inhale, a halfway lift. Exhale, you fold. And then flip your palms. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up. Exhale, hands through your heart. Mountain pose. Does anyone remember some of the muscles that you engage in mountain pose? Okay. Is anyone? Squeeze your thighs. Squeeze your abs. Do you have one?
Your arms.
Yeah, your arms. So your shoulders, your shoulder blades pull back, and your arms are squeezing. So your fingers are upright. But your shoulders are out of the ears. Inhale, reach up high. And exhale, swan dive with a flat back. Hands to your shins. Inhale, a halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step your left foot to the back of the mat. Remember, 90 degrees in the front foot, so your knee is directly over your ankle, and you're high on the ball of the back foot, engaging that straight leg. Squeeze. Use your muscles to hold you up. Really try to push down with your front foot down into the earth. Inhale, light on your fingertips, reach your heart up a little. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Now we're going to do the flow. So inhale, roll out to high plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your left leg long behind you. Now you push your right heel down a little bit towards the mat. Feel the stretch behind your knee. Inhale it up a little higher. And exhale, bend your knee, step it to the front of the mat, low lunge. Remember, knee directly over your ankle, and you're high on the ball of the back foot. Inhale, your heart lifts. Exhale, step forward to ragdoll. Hands to your shins, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Flip your palms, inhale, reverse swan dive. And exhale, hands through your heart. Find your mountain pose. Ready, inhale, reach up tall. Exhale, swan dive. Hands to your shins, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Walk both your feet back to downward facing dog. Bring your knees to the mat. Bring your knees a little wider. And sink back onto your heels. Reach your arms forward. Put your forehead down onto the mat. And stay here. Put your forehead down. This is called child's pose. Now in child's pose, you find rest. You have an opportunity to regain your breath, regain your focus, and let your body rest for a few moments. It's a pose that if the yoga ever becomes too intense, you just need a break, you can always do this to regain some concentration, to relax, to rest, and you're still doing yoga in your child's pose. Keeping your forehead planted. Inhale, reach your arms forward, long on the mat. Forehead stays planted. And then exhale, walk your hands to the right corner of your mat. And you can walk your hands on top of each other so they can feel a stretch in your side body. Inhale, walk your hands back to center. And exhale, walk them to the right, or the other side, the left. Feel the stretch. Inhale, back up to center. Come up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Lift your knees up, lift your hips up. Downward facing dog. Inhale, roll out to high plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Ready? Inhale, reach your right leg long behind you. And exhale, bend your knee, step it to the front of the mat. Low lunge. Inhale, reach your arms up high into high lunge. Now high lunge, it's basically like low lunge, but you're reaching towards the sky. So you still have your knee directly over your ankle, and your back leg is straight and strong, high on your toes. Your hips are square. So what that means is, imagine the sides of your yoga mat, they have invisible lines going up, and they're hugging your hips just like this. So your hips are square, and you're strong in your back leg. Really squeeze your thigh muscles. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, sink a little deeper in your hips. Keep the 90 degrees, hold it, squeeze. Nice job, everyone. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, plant your hands, framing your foot. Step back, high plank. Inhale. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And now remember, yoga's balance, so we have to do the other side. Inhale, reach your left leg long behind you. Three-legged dog. And exhale, bend your knee, step it to the front. Low lunge. Inhale, arms sweep up. So remember, hips square with your mat. Your knee is directly over your ankle and you're high in the ball of the back foot. Really engage this standing leg and this standing leg. They're equally strong. Girls. Squeeze. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, frame your foot, step back, high plank. Inhale. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Breathe. Everyone take a deep breath in through your nose and open your mouth, exhale. That was a strong breath. I heard it. Inhale, reach your right leg long behind you. Bend your knees, step it to the front of the mat, low lunge. Inhale, come up, high lunge. Now we're going to do something a little different. From here, ground your back heel so that it's 45 degrees, so it's pointing forward, and your hips are still square. So if you have to, you might need to shorten your stance just a little bit to keep that hip square. Scissor your hips. So that means your front leg, you pull back on your hip, and your back leg, you pull forward. And arms are high. This is called Warrior One. In Warrior One, you still engage your legs, your thighs. Imagine you're pushing down on your yoga mat and separating it. So you're really pushing forward and really pushing back, but you're not sliding your foot. Can you feel your legs engage after that? Inhale, reach tall. And exhale, we're opening up to Warrior Two. So arms point to the center and your hips open up. Your hips open up. So everyone should be You open up, your knee is as if it's pulling towards your pinky toe, so you're actively pulling your hips apart. And you might even be able to widen your stance and sink a little deeper. Now in Warrior 2, we're looking at the center of the room, but at the fingertips of your front middle finger. So you're looking right at your fingers. Flip your front palm, and you're going to reverse your warrior. So that means lifting up this arm and dropping down the back arm on your leg. Keep your front knee bent 90 degrees, and then looking up towards the sky. That front knee stays strong and bent, and your back leg stays engaged. Inhale, come back, Warrior 2. Straighten the front knee. Both legs are straight now. And reach for the center of the circle, dropping your right arm down and your left arm reaches up. Your hand can rest on your shin. It can rest floating. Or if you're flexible enough, touch the ground. It's up to you. It's your yoga practice. But both your legs are straight and both your legs are strong. This is called triangle pose.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Do you see the triangle?
Yes, I see the triangle very much. The triangle's kind of odd, but
It's an odd triangle, but
it's a very odd triangle. He's not participating.
come back up. Bend your front knee. Windmill your arms to frame the foot. Step back, high plank. Inhale. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Remember, balance, so we gotta do the other side. Inhale, reach the left leg this time long into the air. Bend your knee, step it to the front of the mat. Inhale, arms reach high. And then remember in Warrior 1, we ground the back heel, maybe shorten our stance, hips square, front knee bent, and we're strong. We engage our belly muscles. We engage our leg muscles. Remember that separating your yoga mat, so you're really pushing down with both your legs. Feel the burn. Yoga is a lot harder than you thought, right?
I imagined it to be so easy. Yeah.
So, inhale, reach tall. And we're going to exhale, open up to Warrior 2 again. So your hips open up. And you can widen your stance if you feel like you can sink further. So now in Warrior 2 here, you have an opportunity again to release some silly energy. So what I'm going to suggest to you, you can make warrior sounds. What's a warrior sound? Wait, warrior sounds if you're in Warrior 2. Yes, there was one. Yeah. And then ready, come back. Now we have another opportunity. You can dance like an Egyptian to this music. What's your best dance move? There you go. Oh, there you go. Yeah, we have this. And then back to Warrior 2. Straight, or lift the front arm, flip your front palm, and then reverse your warrior. Come back, go backwards. Remember, the front knee stays bent. Strong. Front knee stays bent. So bent. Come back, Warrior 2. Straighten the front knee. Reach for the center of the room. Drop your arm down. It can rest on your shin. It can float. Breathe. Both legs are straight. And your shoulders are stacked, so that means they're on top of each other. Breathe. Inhale, come back up. Bend the front knee. Windmill your arms to frame your foot. Step back, high plank. Inhale. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come high to your tiptoes. Bend your knees, look forward. And then you can tiptoe or you can even hop all the way to the front. Coming into dog. Hands to your shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, reverse swan dive, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Find, what is this pose? Mountain pose. So this time we're going to go into what's called chair pose. So bring your big toes together and your heels like this far apart. Reach your hands up high, inhale. And exhale, sink into a chair. Yeah. Your feet are completely planted. And now look at your toes. Can you see them? If you can't see your toes, pull your knees back a little. Strong. Stay bent. Sink a little deeper. And ready, we're going to flow. So keeping our knees bent and our spine long, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale. And exhale, open up your arms, bending towards the left. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, bend the other way. Inhale, your hands back to center. Exhale, sink a little deeper in your chair. Keep your spine long. And then come on up. Now bring your feet a little wide so your toes are pointing out and they're almost touching the sides of your yoga mat. Maybe not quite. Bring your hands to your heart and we're going to go into yogi squat. So in yogi squat, you sink pretty low into your legs. Your feet stay completely planted and your back stays long and straight. So ready, inhale. And exhale, sink down into yogi squat. So in yogi squat, do you see how my back is straight and long? Now I could sink deeper, but look at what happens to my back. I start to round it. We don't want that. You want that straight spine. It's hard in your leg to keep that straight spine. Breathe. We're going to hold it for a couple breaths. 3 breaths, everyone. Do your own breath. Keep your feet completely on the ground. Sink a little deeper. And then have a seat on your gluteus maximus. And now we're going to go into a pose called crow. Now this is a balancing pose. Now you're going to watch me. So from your yogi squat, I'm in my squat, I plant my hands, and now my knees, they're going to rest on the upper part of the back of my arm. Now they can rest on the side, they can rest right on top. I'm going to choose on top because that's what I'm used to. I plant my hands, I start to lean forward, and naturally, my feet lift up. Now, remember, you're looking forward, not at your feet or at anyone else, and you're lifting into it, not jumping into it. Go ahead, try it now. So if you want to do it with me, squat, plant your hands, put your knees on your arms, lean forward, and feel the natural lift of your legs. No head on the mat. Your head doesn't go on the mat. Oh, we got one right there. Great job. Keep playing with it. Oh, we got one over there too. Nice. Keep playing with it. Did you get it? Oh, we got one here. Nice. Make your arms more of a shelf and continue to go forward. It's very hard. Oh, yeah? Oh, good thing you have a comfy mat. Wow, these two girls over there are doing great. Good job, girls. Now come back. Come back to your seat. And extend your legs long on the mat. Now, in yoga, the last pose you always do is called corpse pose. Now, corpse pose is an opportunity for you to just relax and let go. Let your yoga practice, the positions we did, the hard work we did, settle into your muscles and come back into your breath. So reach your arms forward.